Hello everyone, this is third foundation lesson for the students who are planning to start their preparation for CAT 2024. In this lesson we are going to discuss basics of percentages. So let's start. First of all, let's understand the meaning of percentages. So percent, what does it mean? Per means out of and cent means 100. So the percent means out of 100. So now how to calculate percentages, let's understand with the help of two examples. The first example, let's say in a certain examination, if I get out of 80 marks, if I get 48 marks, then how many percentages I will get? So out of 80 I got 48 marks. So if instead of 80 marks, if the paper is of 100 marks, I will get how many marks? So let's cross multiply 100 into 48 divided by 80. So if we simplify this further, this 0 and 0 gets cancelled out, and that is going to be 60. So if paper is of 100 marks, you will get 60 marks. It means you will be getting 60 percentages. The another way of calculating this is, out of 80 you got 48. To convert this fraction into percentages, we need to multiply this by 100. So if you solve this further, you will get 60. So you will be getting 60 percentages over here. Now there is one misconception that the value of percentages cannot be more than 100%. No, it can be more than 100%. Let's have a look at the example. Let's say there is a bus. Let's say the capacity of bus is, let's say the capacity of bus is 50 passengers. But the actual number of passengers, actual number of people in the bus, hold on, actual number of people in the bus is, let's say, 75 people. So now over here we need to find that the bus is running at what percent of its capacity. So over here the capacity of bus is 50, but there are 75 people are there in the bus. To convert this fraction into percentages, we need to multiply this by 100, and if we solve this further, you will get 150. It means the bus is running at 150% of its capacity. So this is how we can calculate percentages. The value of percentages can be less than 100%, it can be more than 100%, or it can also equal to 100%. Now the second part of this video is how to interpret percentages. Let's have a look at that. Now how to interpret percentages, let's learn this with the help of two statements. The first statement is, let's say A saves 30% of his income. So now what we can interpret from this statement, let's have a look at it. So percent means out of 100. It's always easy to calculate percentage on 100. For example, if I want to find 30% of 100, 30% of 100 is going to be how much? 30 divided by 100 into 100, that is equal to 30 itself. So always try to work with 100. For example, over here this 30% is applicable on his income. If I assume the income of A is 100 rupees, then A is going to save 30% of 100. 30% of 100 is 30 rupees, and A is going to spend the remaining amount. The remaining amount is 100 minus 30, that is equal to 70. So if the income of A is 100, he is going to save 30 rupees and he is going to spend 70 rupees. So the ratio of income, saving and expenditure is going to be 10:3:7. This is how we can interpret this statement. Second statement is, let's say we got 20% less than passing marks. So over here the 20% is applicable on passing marks. So let's say if I assume the passing marks to be 100, let's say passing marks to be 100, then how many marks we will be getting? We will be getting 20% less than passing marks. So 20% of 100 is 20. So 20 less now. 100 minus 20 is 80. So if the passing marks are 100, we will get 80 marks. The ratio of passing marks and the B's marks is going to be 5:4 over here. This is how we can interpret statements which involve percentages. Now the next is conversion of basic fractions into percentages. Now what do I mean by basic fractions? Means something that is 1 divided by x. Now there are few very commonly used fractions and the commonly used percentages. Now which fractions and which percentages I am talking about, let's have a look at it. If I tell you I got 1 mark out of 1 mark, then I will be getting how many percentages? It is very simple, that is 100 percentages. Now if I get 1 mark out of 2 marks, in that case I will be getting 50 percentages. Then if I get 1 mark out of 3 marks, I will be getting 33.33 percentages. Similarly, if I get 1 mark out of 4 marks, I will be getting 25 percentages. And if I get 1 mark out of 5 marks, I will be getting 20 percentages. Now, how we are converting these fractions into percentages? By simply multiplying the fraction by 100. You can see that 1 by 1 into 100 is 100, 1 by 2 into 100 is 50, 1 by 3 into 100 is 33.33. Similarly, 1 by 4 into 100 is 25 and 1 by 5 into 100 is 20%. Similarly, if I get 1 mark out of 6 marks, I will be getting how many percentages? 1 by 6 into 100, that is 100 by 6, that is 50 by 3, that is going to be 16.66 percentages. Now there are other ways to remember this as well, and we will be continuing with this list, but before that let me tell you why we are listing it down. So look here, these fractions and these percentages are very commonly used. For example, if I want to find 33.33% of, let's say, some number 522. So what is our traditional calculation? Our traditional calculation is 33.33 divided by 100 into 552. Now you cannot afford to do this calculation. So you need to remember that finding 33.33% of a number is nothing but multiplying that number by 1 by 3. So 1 by 3 of 522, that is going to be 174. For example, if I say I want to find 25% of 108. Now you cannot afford to do like this, 25 by 100 into 108, 25 into 4 is 100 and so on. You are supposed to do these kind of calculations orally. Finding 25% of a number is nothing but multiplying that number by 1 by 4. Or finding 25% of a number is nothing but dividing that number by 4. So 108 by 4 is going to be 27. This is the use of remembering these fractions and their corresponding percentage values. So now let's continue with this list. Now before we continue with this list, hold on. 1 by 3 is 33.33%, but most of the time it is not written as 33.33%. If you see, this is not exact 33.33, this is 33.333 and so on. So now in the exam, how it is represented, let's have a look at it. So it is represented in a mixed fraction format. Now what is this format? This format is quotient, remainder and divisor. So now 1 by 3 is nothing but 1 by 3 into 100, that is 100 by 3. If we divide 100 by 3, the quotient is 33, the remainder is 1 and the divisor is 3. So most of the time 33.33% is represented as 33 1 by 3%. Similarly 16.66% is represented as 16 2 by 3%. So along with this decimal format, you need to remember the mixed fraction format as well. Now let's continue with this list. After this, if you get 1 mark out of 7 marks, you will be getting 14.28 percentages. And in mixed fraction, that is nothing but 14 2 by 7 percentages. After this, if you get 1 mark out of 8 marks, now you will get how many percentages? 1 by 8 into 100, that is 100 by 8, that is 12.5%. Or the other way to remember this is, we know that 1 by 4 represent 25%. Now divide both sides by 2, or dividing both sides by 2, it's same as multiplying both sides by 1 by 2. So 25 by 2 becomes 12.5%. Now if you get 1 mark out of 9 marks, now we know that 1 by 3 is 33.33%. Divide both sides by 3 or multiply both sides by 1 by 3, you will get 11.11%. In mixed fraction, it is 11 1 by 9%. But these fractions are very commonly used. So every time you are not supposed to do 25 divided by 2 or 33.33 divided by 3. Whenever you see 1 by it, 12.5% should come in your mind. Whenever you see 1 by 9, 11.11% should come in your mind. You need to train yourself like this, or vice versa. Whenever you see 11.11%, 1 by 9 should come in your mind. After this, 1 by 10 is nothing but 10 percentages. Now these fractions and percentage equivalents are useful in almost 30 to 40% of the quant topics and in the complete DI section. You can see that percentage, profit and loss, simple interest, compound interest, these topics are completely dependent on these fractions and percentages. And along with that, in time and work, in time, speed, distance, in mixture allocations, in averages, these percentages are used widely. So let's continue. If you get 1 mark out of 11 marks, that is 1 by 11 into 100, 100 by 11, if you do that, you will get 9.09%. That is nothing but 9 1 by 11 percentages. Similarly, if you get 1 mark out of 12 marks, now we know 1 by 6 is 16.66%. Divide both sides by 2, you will get 8.33 percentages. In the mixed fraction format, it is 8 1 by 3 percentage. After this, 1 by 13 is nothing but 7.69%. This is not very commonly used percentage, so it's fine not to remember its mixed fraction. Or you can calculate 1 by 13 into 100, 100 by 13. 13 sevens are 91, the remainder is 9 and divided by 13. After that, if you get 1 mark out of 14 marks, now we know 1 by 7 is 14.28, divide both sides by 2, you will get 7.14%. Its mixed fraction, it's 7 1 by 7%. After this, if you get 1 mark out of 15 marks, that is nothing but 1 by 15 into 100, 100 by 15, that is equal to 6.66%. In the mixed fraction format, it is 6 2 by 3 percentages. After that, if you get 1 mark out of 16 marks, we know 1 by it is 12.5. Again, divide both sides by 2, you will get 6.25%. But every time you do not need to do like this. You need to by heart all these fractions and the corresponding percentages. Its mixed fraction at 6 1/4 percentages. Now let's do few random. For example, if I get 1 mark out of 20 marks, it is 1/20 into 100, 5%. If I get 1 mark out of 25 marks, it is 4%. So you need to by heart all these fractions and their corresponding percentages. So this is about basic fractions, 1 divided by x. Now what do we mean by advanced fractions? Let's have a look at that. So advanced fractions are nothing but n divided by x. For example, we just saw that if I get 1 mark out of 5 marks, I will get 20%. So now if I get 2 marks out of 5 marks, I will simply get 20 into 2, 40 percentages. If I get 3 out of 5 marks, I will get 20 into 3, 60 percentages. So these are called as advanced fractions. For example, we saw that if I get 1 mark out of 4 marks, I will get 25%. Similarly, if I ask you, if I get 3 marks out of 4 marks, so now we know 1/4 is 25, so 3/4 becomes 3 into 25, 75%. After this, I told you that if I get 1 mark out of 3 marks, I will be getting 33.33%. Similarly, if I get 2 marks out of 3 marks, then I will be getting 66.66 percentages. Similarly, after this, if I get 1 mark out of 8 marks, I will be getting 12.5%. Now, if I ask you, if I get 3 marks out of 8 marks, then I will be getting how many percentages? It is 12.5 into 3. That is equal to 37.5%. Similarly, if I get 5 marks out of 8 marks, it is 12.5 into 5. That is nothing but 62.5%. So you need to train yourself such that whenever you see 5 divided by it, 62.5% should come in your mind. Or whenever you see 62.5%, 5 by 8 should come in your mind. These are very, very frequently used percentages in the questions. After this, similarly, if I get 1 mark out of 9 marks, this is easy. I will get 11.11%. And if I say, if I get 7 marks out of 9 marks, in that case I will be getting 11.11 into 7, that is 77.77%. Similarly, if I get 1 mark out of 11 marks, I will be getting 9.09%. Now, if I ask you, if I get 4 marks out of 11 marks, I will be getting 4 into 9.09, that is 36.36 percentages. So you can do this easily only if you remember the basic fractions. If you don't remember the basic fractions, then doing these kind of calculation will be very easy. Now the use of this is finding 62.5% of, let's say, 5 or of, let's say, 648. This is again a very common type of calculation. So this is nothing but multiplying 648 by 5 by it simply. So this calculation is going to be 5 into 81, that is equal to 405. This is how we can use this fraction and percentage equivalent effectively. After this, the next is conversion of percentages into fraction. Now before we move ahead, the pre-requirement is you should by heart the basic fractions, such as 6.66 is 1/15, 8.33 is 1/12, like this. So now, how to convert percentages into fractions? For example, let's say I want to calculate 58.33% of 168. Now how we can do this calculation? Let's have a look at it. So doing 58.33 divided by 100 into 168 will not be very feasible. Now, so after looking at 58.33%, what should come in your mind? That it is nothing but 50% plus 8.33%. Now we know 50% is 1 by 2, 8.33 is 1 by 12. This addition is equal to 7 by 12. So finding 58.33% of a number is nothing but multiplying that number by 7 by 12. So this is going to be 7 into 14, that is equal to 98. This is how we can do this. Now, for example, let's take another example. Now, if I say I want to find 83.33% of, let's say, x. So by which fraction shall we multiply x? So now there are multiple ways. Whatever comes in your mind first, you can go ahead with that. Some people can think that this is nothing but 8.33% into 10. So finding 8.33% of a number is nothing but multiplying that number by 1 by 12 into 10, that is nothing but 5 by 6. So the fraction equivalent to 83.33% is 5 by 6. Now some people can also think that this is nothing but 33.33% plus 50%. So 33.33 is 1 by 3, 50 is 1 by 2, this addition is 5 by 6. Some people can also think that this is close to 100%. So this is nothing but 100% minus 16.66%. So 100% is nothing but 1 minus 16.66 is 1 by 6. This subtraction is 5 by 6. So if you want to find 83.33% of a number, then you should multiply that number by 5 by 6. Let's take one more example. Let's say I want to find 43.75% of, let's take a number, 43.75% of 64 I want to find. Okay, so after looking at 43.75, what should come in your mind? It is nothing but 50%. It is close to 50%. Minus how much? 6.25%. So 50% is 1 by 2, 6.25 is 1 by 16. If you do this calculation further, you will get 7 by 16. So finding 43.75% of a number is nothing but multiplying that number by 7 by 16. So our answer is 7 into 4, that is equal to 28 over here. So this is the first part of basics of percentages. The remaining concepts will continue in the next videos.